Hey, curious minds, get ready for mind-blowing facts about animals, science, and more. From surprising talents to bizarre discoveries, this video is packed with fun you won't believe. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into the unexpected.
Despite covering over 70% of Earth's surface, the ocean is still one of the least explored frontiers on the planet. According to NOAA, the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, more than 80% of the ocean has never been mapped, observed, or even seen by humans. That includes the vast deep-sea areas, underwater mountain ranges, trenches, and ecosystems that exist in total darkness, miles below the surface. Exploring the ocean is incredibly difficult. The immense pressure at deep depths can crush most human-made equipment without serious engineering. Light doesn't reach the deeper zones, making visibility nearly zero. Add to that freezing temperatures, complex terrain, and the sheer size of the ocean, over 360 million square kilometers, and it becomes clear why it's such a challenge. In fact, we've mapped more of the surface of Mars and the Moon than we have of Earth's ocean floor. What little we've explored has revealed an astonishing variety of life, some of it truly alien-looking. Deep-sea vents host entire ecosystems without sunlight, fish that glow in the dark through bioluminescence, and species that defy classification. Every expedition into the deep seems to uncover new species, many of which exist nowhere else. From shipwrecks to ancient underwater landscapes, the ocean holds countless secrets, some geological, some biological, some historical. Uncovering the mysteries of the ocean isn't just about curiosity. It has serious scientific, environmental, and even medical implications. Studying ocean ecosystems helps us understand climate change, discover new materials or medicines, and protect endangered marine life. The oceans play a vital role in regulating the Earth's atmosphere and weather. So the more we explore, the better we can protect this delicate and vital part of our planet.
That nostalgic, earthy smell of freshly cut grass isn't just a sign of a neat lawn, it's actually a silent scream. When grass is mowed or damaged, it releases a group of chemicals called green leaf volatiles, or GLVs. These airborne compounds are responsible for that distinct scent we associate with summer days and fresh lawns. But what they actually signify is something far more intense. The plant is in distress, sending out an SOS to its surroundings. These GLVs are part of the plant's defense mechanism. When blades of grass are torn, the plant interprets it much like an injury. The release of these compounds can warn nearby plants of potential danger, such as insect attacks or physical damage. In response, neighboring plants may start ramping up their own defenses, producing chemicals to deter pests or prepare for possible harm. It's a subtle form of communication, one that happens all around us, silently and chemically. Interestingly, some insects and animals have evolved to interpret these signals as well. For example, certain parasitic wasps are attracted to GLVs because they know those signals often mean a caterpillar or other herbivore is nearby, munching on the plant. So while we humans might enjoy the scent as a pleasant byproduct of yard work, in the natural world, it can set off a whole chain reaction of survival tactics. So the next time you breathe in that crisp green aroma, just remember, it's the soundless equivalent of grass yelling, "Something's hurting me." It's one of nature's most poetic and surprising distress signals, hiding in plain scent.
Scotland's famously unpredictable and often wintry weather has inspired something truly poetic. The Scots language has over 421 different words for snow. This abundance isn't just linguistic trivia. It reflects a deep, historical relationship between the Scottish people and their environment, where snow isn't just snow, but a whole spectrum of conditions, sensations, and experiences worth naming. Many of the words are beautifully descriptive and specific. For example, flindrican refers to a light snow shower, snawpowther describes fine, powdery snow, and skelf means a large, floating snowflake. There's even sneezel, which means to begin to rain or snow. These aren't modern inventions either. Many of them appear in historical texts, local dialects, and oral traditions passed down through generations. It's a linguistic reflection of the fact that in places where snow is frequent and varied, people naturally develop more nuanced ways to talk about it. This richness in vocabulary also speaks to the Scots language itself, which is distinct from English and has many regional variants. It's known for being expressive and deeply tied to the landscape. The plethora of snow words has even been officially documented and celebrated by institutions like the University of Glasgow, which created a Scots thesaurus to catalogue and preserve this kind of linguistic heritage. In a broader sense, the idea that Scots have 421 words for snow mirrors a universal truth language often evolves in direct response to the natural world around us. Just as desert cultures have many terms for sand or Arctic peoples have detailed vocabularies for ice, the Scottish people's many words for snow remind us that our environment shapes how we think, feel, and speak.
Yes, you really can smell rain, and there's a fascinating science behind that fresh, earthy scent that rolls in with a storm. That distinct smell is known as Petrichor, a term coined in 1964 by two Australian scientists, Isabel Joy-Bear and Richard Thomas. They were the first to study the phenomenon in detail and name the compound responsible for this atmospheric aroma. Petrichor is the combination of several natural substances, but the most important ingredient comes from soil-dwelling bacteria. One key player is a compound called geosmin, which is produced by certain types of actinobacteria in soil. When the ground is dry, this compound builds up. Then, as rain begins to fall, the water hits the earth and causes the geosmin to become airborne in tiny aerosol droplets. Our noses are incredibly sensitive to geosmin. Even small concentrations can trigger a strong sensory response. That's why the smell of rain can seem so strong, especially after a long dry spell. Another contributor to the petrichor scent comes from plant oils that accumulate on surfaces like rocks, leaves or soil. During dry periods, some plants release these oils as a survival tactic. When rain falls, those oils are released into the air along with the geosmin, blending together to create that signature pre-storm or just rained scent. Interestingly, the smell is often more noticeable when rain falls on dry ground than on damp or waterlogged areas. Beyond just being a pleasant scent, petrichor can actually trigger emotional or nostalgic responses in people. It's a sensory cue that ties to memories of renewal, change, and the calm that often follows a storm. So the next time you step outside and smell rain before it hits, know that your nose is detecting an ancient chemical process, and perhaps even nature's way of telling the world that refreshment is on the way. One of the most impressive and charming facts about Lego is that bricks made in the 1950s still fit perfectly with those made today. That's not just nostalgia, it's an intentional design philosophy built on consistency, precision, and enduring quality. When Lego introduced its now iconic plastic brick in 1958, it used a stud and tube coupling system that allowed for a tight, secure fit between pieces. This interlocking mechanism was so well engineered that it has remained virtually unchanged for over 65 years. That decision has paid off in a big way. The fact that older bricks still work with new ones means that Lego has created one of the most universally compatible toy systems in the world. You could literally find a Lego brick from the 1960s in a dusty attic and snap it into a brand new Star Wars set bought yesterday. This backward compatibility not only extends the life of the product, but also fosters creativity across generations. Kids, parents, and even grandparents can build together using bricks from their own childhoods. So, part of this consistency is due in large part to the extremely high manufacturing standards Lego maintains. Their bricks are molded with a tolerance of just 2 micrometers. That's actually less than the width of a human hair, ensuring every piece fits snugly without ever being too tight or, too loose. This kind of precision is exactly what makes Lego creations sturdy enough to be moved around or even displayed, yet still easy to take apart and, reimagine as something new. Beyond just being a fun fact, Lego's long-lasting compatibility has really become a symbol of the brand's philosophy, creativity that stands the test of time. It's not just about building blocks, it's about trust, reliability, and honestly, infinite possibility. Whether you're constructing a spaceship, a castle, or your own wild invention, those little plastic bricks are designed to last and to fit together forever.
One of the most fascinating quirks of the octopus lies within its own body. It has 3 hearts, and believe it or not, one of them stops beating when it swims. This isn't science fiction. It's a real biological feature that showcases just how unique and honestly alien-like octopuses truly are among Earth's creatures. Here's how it works. Two of the octopus's hearts are known as branchial hearts, and their job is to pump blood through each of the animal's gills, where it collects oxygen from the surrounding water. The third, called the systemic heart, is the one that sends oxygenated blood from the gills to the rest of the body. So in essence, the octopus has a circulation system that's partially divided between gill function and full body supply, allowing it to efficiently manage oxygen in its watery world. Now, here's where it gets even stranger. When an octopus swims, its systemic heart actually stops beating. Scientists believe this is due to the physical exertion and pressure involved in its jet propulsion swimming method, which forces water through its siphon for fast movement. The systemic heart's pause during swimming temporarily halts the distribution of oxygenated blood to the rest of its body, which is part of why octopuses generally prefer crawling along the seafloor rather than swimming. It's less taxing and, well, more energy efficient. This quirky cardiovascular setup is just one part of what makes octopuses so biologically remarkable. Add in their blue copper-based blood, ability to regenerate limbs, and advanced problem-solving skills, and it's easy to see why many scientists consider them among the most intelligent and mysterious invertebrates alive. Their three-heart system is more than a curiosity. It's a finely tuned adaptation to a life of stealth, agility, and deep-sea survival.
Your taste buds, those tiny sensory organs that help you experience flavour, are constantly being replaced. In fact, the average lifespan of a taste bud is only about 10 to 14 days. That means your mouth is in a near constant state of renewal, with old taste buds dying off and new ones forming in their place. It's a fascinating little cycle that keeps your sense of taste sharp and adaptable. Each taste bud is made up of 50 to 100 specialised receptor cells, which detect the 5 basic taste categories: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. These cells work by sending signals to your brain through nerves, telling you what you're tasting. But like many other cells in your body, they undergo regular wear and tear from things like heat, chewing, spicy foods, and, well, just general aging. Because of this, your body replaces them often to maintain a functioning sense of taste. The regeneration process is influenced by several factors. Age, smoking, illness, medications, and even stress can affect how quickly your taste buds regenerate, or if they regenerate fully at all. For instance, smokers often experience dulled taste because nicotine can damage the taste buds and slow their regrowth. Similarly, people undergoing certain cancer treatments may temporarily lose their sense of taste because those therapies can harm the fast-replicating cells in the mouth, including taste buds. Interestingly, while the cells within a taste bud regenerate frequently, the overall number and sensitivity of taste buds can decrease over time, especially with age. That's one reason older adults often experience a change in how foods taste, particularly a diminished sensitivity to sweet and salty flavours. Still, thanks to this constant cycle of renewal, your sense of taste remains one of the most resilient and dynamic sensory systems in your body. So the next time you savour your favourite dish, you might just be using a whole new set of taste buds from the week before.
One of the more delightfully quirky facts from the animal kingdom is that a group of jellyfish is called a smack. While many animal groupings have poetic or unexpected names, like a murder of crows or a parliament of owls, the term smack stands out for its playful sound, especially when applied to such graceful, often ghost-like sea creatures. The origin of the word isn't entirely clear, but it's part of a long tradition in English, where animal groups were given collective nouns, often in the Middle Ages, that were more colourful or metaphorical than descriptive. Unlike more intuitive terms like herd or flock, words like smack were often coined for fun or to reflect some perceived trait of the animals. Some speculate that smack may be linked to the gentle, rhythmic smacking motion jellyfish make as they pulse through the water. Jellyfish themselves are mesmerizing and ancient creatures, having floated through Earth's oceans for over 500 million years, long before dinosaurs roamed. While they might look delicate and otherworldly, they can actually be quite dangerous depending on the species. Some deliver painful or even deadly stings. And when they gather in large numbers forming a smack, they can overwhelm fishing nets, clog power plant intakes, or even close beaches, turning what seems like a graceful sea ballet into a jellyfish invasion. Interestingly, a smack of jellyfish is just one term used. Other collective nouns include a bloom or swarm, particularly when referring to larger groups during seasonal gatherings. Still, smack remains the most whimsically charming, and it's a great example of how language adds a layer of character and curiosity to the natural world. So next time you spot a cluster of jellyfish drifting along the shore, you'll know you're witnessing a smack in action. Elegant, eerie, and oddly named.
The world's oldest known recipe isn't for bread, soup, or even wine, it's for beer, humanity's ancient elixir of choice. Dating back to around 5000 to 3900 BCE, this early recipe was discovered in a Sumerian hymn inscribed on a clay tablet known as the hymn to Ninkasi. Ninkasi was the Sumerian goddess of beer, and the hymn wasn't just a spiritual song, it was also a practical guide for brewing. This poetic recipe describes the process of fermenting bread made from barley to create a drink that was both nourishing and intoxicating. In essence, the Sumerians were baking a kind of barley bread called bapir, then crumbling it into water and letting it ferment into beer. The brew would have been thick, cloudy, and consumed with a straw to avoid the sediment, a far cry from the filtered lagers and ales of today. But it served an important role, not only as a source of calories and hydration, but also as a social and ritualistic centerpiece in ancient Mesopotamian life. Beer wasn't just a treat, it was central to daily living. Because water sources were often contaminated, beer with its alcohol content was safer to drink. It was consumed by men, women, and even children. Workers were sometimes paid in beer, and there were dozens of beer varieties brewed by different communities. The fact that the first recorded recipe in human history is for beer shows just how embedded it was in early civilization's structure. What's amazing is how this ancient tradition continues today. Modern brewers and archaeologists have tried recreating the Sumerian beer using the techniques described in the hymn, even crafting brews that mimic the cloudy, malty taste of the original. So in a way, every pint poured today carries echoes of a tradition that stretches back over 6,000 years. A reminder that brewing beer isn't just an art form, it's a historical thread connecting ancient and modern cultures, one fermentation at a time.
Deep in the dark, pressure-heavy depths of the ocean lives one of the most bizarre and captivating creatures known to science. The Barreleye fish, Macropinna microstoma. This strange species is best known for one jaw-dropping feature, its transparent, dome-like head through which you can clearly see its barrel-shaped eyes and internal structures. It's an evolutionary masterpiece, adapted for survival in the deep sea's harsh, low-light environment. Discovered in 1939, but not photographed alive until 2004, the Barreleye fish lives at depths of around 600 to 800 meters, where sunlight barely reaches. For decades, its unique physiology baffled scientists. What looked like two eyes at the front of its head turned out to be nostril-like organs, while its real eyes are tube-shaped and set deep inside the transparent dome, giving it the appearance of a sci-fi creation rather than a real animal. These eyes can rotate both upward to spot prey silhouetted above and forward when it's feeding, allowing for remarkable visual precision in the pitch-black ocean. The see-through dome that encases the eyes is filled with fluid and acts as both a protective shield and a lens, helping the fish filter out ambient light and focus on bioluminescent prey. This adaptation gives the Barreleye a serious survival advantage, allowing it to detect the faintest glimmers of light in its otherwise lightless environment, ideal for spotting jellyfish, small crustaceans and other drifting organisms in the deep. Despite its eerie appearance, the Barreleye fish is only about 6 inches long and moves slowly and gracefully through the water, using its large, flat fins for stability. It's a reminder of how alien and undiscovered the deep ocean truly is, and how life down there evolves in ways that defy our expectations. The Barreleye is a living example of nature's strange ingenuity, delicate, mysterious, and perfectly adapted to a world most of us will never see.
Thank you for watching. We hope these mind-blowing facts left you amazed and inspired. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell because there's plenty more where that came from. Stay curious and we'll see you in the next one.